The Checkpoints is presented by pharmaceutical company GM Pharma.
The Georgian government will fully finance treatment of children with oncological diseases in medical institutions of Israel, Spain and Turkey in the wake of signing a deal on cooperation with partner clinics, the health ministry announced. Katerina Pestmenidze, the acting executive director of the Solidarity Fund established in 2014 on the initiative of Prime Minister Irakli Garibashvili to encourage donations for covering treatment for children with cancer and other priority social needs, held a presentation on the program and discussed opportunities for recipients, noting one of the fund's beneficiaries was preparing to visit the Turkish facility involved in the deal for treatment. In his comments, Minister Zurab Azarashvili said the state had laid the foundation for a historic project to provide quality health care and equal access to high-quality medical services within and outside the country for all children patients. He also said the state has taken full responsibility and pledged to treat all children with oncological diagnoses in the best clinics around the world as part of the $12 million USD program with no budget limitations. Azarashvili noted the government had also taken novel steps to ensure vital health services for children with oncology diagnoses domestically at the end of last year on the initiative of Prime Minister Irakli Garibashvili. He said providing access to quality medical services for children was clearly reflected in the government policy and long-term strategy and indicated a full range of high-quality medical services would be made available in the country in the shortest amount of time. The Checkpoints hosted Professor Ronit Elhasid, the director of Pediatric Hemato-Oncology Department and Ichilov Medical Center in Israel, and Hadas Ester Meitzad, the Israeli ambassador in Georgia. Here is the full interview. Thank you for being with us and taking our questions. Dr. Elhasid, this is your second visit to Tbilisi. As I remember, you were also in January this year. That's when the first talks started about this this program. So what has changed since January?
No snow.
No snow, that's important.
What was changing was that we have an agreement now. And
exactly.
we're very happy with this agreement. It's a collaboration between Georgia and Israel for the benefit of young children with cancer. So my specialty is treating children with cancer. I'm doing it for many, many years. And it is my pleasure and privilege to help other children in another country with cancer.
Yes. So, what do you anticipate from this cooperation with Georgia, and what was your company's, your hospital's motivation to be involved in this program?
There was a call from the minister for help for children with cancer, and we answered this call because we have all the experience and the techniques to treat children with malignancy. We've done it for many years in Israel, and it is and our motivation is to treat other patients with cancer, especially now that we have the agreement in Georgia.
Yeah. So what are some of the opportunities that this agreement will open up for Georgia's kids?
You know, these days you can cure more than 80% of children with cancer. In leukemia, blood cancer, you can cure even 90% of children. And this will bring the children of Georgia this hopeful salvage from the disease. You know, for treating children with cancer, you have to know how to do it. You have to know how to diagnose it, and then you have to know how to treat it and to bring this success without toxicity. And we have the ability to do it, and a lot of motivation to help other children in Georgia.
Ms. Meitzad, so there are three countries at this point involved in this program. It is Turkey, it is Spain, and Israel. Why Israel? What makes this country competitive in this sphere?
Why Israel? Well, as ambassador of Israel, I will say that what makes us competitive is Israel has the top of the art, very advanced medical facilities. Ichilov is one of them. Mm-hmm. And as Professor Elhasid said, I mean, there was a call from the Georgian Minister of Health. And I have to say here that we're very grateful and appreciative of the work that was done by the Ministry of Health, by the Solidarity Fund here in Georgia. The quick pace in which this project has been, I mean, it has been several months, and you heard earlier today we signed the agreement. Israel truly believes that what we have, what we know, we must share it with the rest of the world. We are doing it through our foreign aid. We are doing it in corporations such as this. But at the end of the day, if we have the knowledge, if we have the solution, if we have the ability to help, we will always reach out and help as much as we can.
Mm-hmm. What would be the measurable outcomes that you will also be monitoring during this program, and what kind of expectations could there be with this program?
First, we will treat the children that need treatment. And by the time the Georgian Health Ministry and all the team will build a center for cancer for children, and by the time it is done, they could continue the therapy in Georgia. But for the meantime, until it will happen, we will treat the children from Georgia in our country, in Israel.
Yes, you mentioned that most of cancer can be cured this time, and especially some types, like more easily than others. What is needed for that, and what is focus on R&D, for example, in your medical facility as well, and how that helps drive the innovation in this sphere and drive the results?
You need to have infrastructures. I mean, you need to know how to do the right diagnosis. This is the first thing, okay? Once you do the right diagnosis, you need to treat according to international protocols with a lot of experience in this specific malignancy. Then you need to have a multidisciplinary team to help avoid toxicity and help avoid late effects. So we in Israel have all this in our center. We have the best facilities for diagnosis, radiology, surgery, genetic analysis, everything. And we use international European protocols for treating Israeli children, and this will be the same for Georgian children. And we have special facilities to avoid all this toxicity and to treat it when it comes, and to make all that we can for the child to be healthy and come and go back to his country.
Yes. In general, is this treatment expensive? Because it involves so much expertise, so much infrastructure, so much innovation that you have just mentioned.
Well, this issue is between the clinic and the ministry. I'm giving the service of medicine, but other things should be.
What could Georgia learn with this cooperation with Israel also? Because
learn how to do the diagnosis. Learn in which protocol to use to treat each disease, and learn how to be a very qualified and good center for children with malignancy.
Thank you so much.
If I may add to this.
Of course.
I think that we already have a very strong partnership between Israel and Georgia in many aspects, including in health. I mean, even before this agreement came to realize, there is a lot of cooperation in the field of health that is based on a personal relation. 2 months ago, I attended the conference that was arranged by TSU Medical School, that it was to honor an Israeli doctor who has been working here for 2 years, came and trained a surgeon, a neurosurgeon, and there were top neurosurgeons from Israel who came for the weekend in Tbilisi for this conference. We are going to have another conference in 2 months again, Israeli conference that will take place here in Georgia with Georgian doctors. So we have all this like personal based cooperation, and now we have also this institutionalized cooperation. And I think that in the long term, when the minister or the prime minister are talking about establishing here the first public hospital that will be for the treatment of children with cancer and an oncological pediatric center, I think that we in Israel will be privileged and honored to assist, to follow, to train, to do whatever it takes. And of course, it depends on the TOR and on the project itself. But it is for us truly, I mean, I think that this responsibility is also comes with a lot of honor to be trusted to take care of the children and to assist Georgia in this project to build domestic capacities in order to be able to treat the children in the future in Georgia and not to send them outside.
Ms. Meitzad, you mentioned just one sector of the economy, such as health and the cooperation. I cannot let you go without asking some of the economic questions as well, since we are business media. So what are some of the results of this long-standing economic cooperation between our countries, and what perspectives do you see, and what challenges may be in
the most easy to, I mean, the biggest achievement, I'm sorry, it's not the right term, but one of the significant agreements that you reached when Minister Elhasid was in Israel early May. He and the Minister of Economy, Nir Barkat in Israel, announced on the beginning of negotiation on free trade agreement between Israel and Georgia in 2024. And this, I think, is a very positive signal for the future. Second, I see growing interest from the IT sector in Israel toward the IT sector in Georgia. The growing industry here, which is, I mean, still relatively small, but it also makes sense. And I have here quite a lot of Israelis, representatives of Israeli companies from the field of IT that are coming to understand what is happening here, to see who will be the right partner, whether it will be private sector, maybe academic, maybe something with the government. There is an interest about what is happening here and the ecosystem that is building here. And quite recently, there was also a visit by the head of JITA and the Deputy Minister of Economy to Israel that was focused very much on this, on cooperation in the field of IT. And we are now working on the follow-up and with hope to see more. And then there is always interest in the field of agriculture. Some interesting projects are being discussed. It's too early for me to go into the details. Of course, you understand it. Also in the field of hospitality, we are seeing raising interest. And generally speaking, I think the whole conversation about the middle corridor, about the connectivity, whether it's transportation, whether it's IT, digital, energy, that this is creating more and more interest also from Israeli companies and the business sector. So, you know, we are here to assist and to see how we can make it, how we can realize it.
I remember that in May this year, the feasibility study on the FTA between Georgia and Israel has been completed. Where does this study
go? The feasibility
go?
studies, it was completed, I think, even before May, but maybe I'm. But at the end, I mean, it goes to the declaration that in 2024. Teams from both ministries will start the negotiation on FTA. Now, we all know that negotiation on FTA is something that takes a long time, but we also know that in the business of investment and the business sector, signaling is signals, positive signals are extremely important. And I think that here, the decision by Israel and Georgia to say, we are now translating our good relations also into the business sphere by starting to move forward towards a free trade agreement. I think it's a very positive sign about the future that both countries are wishing to build together.
Madam Ambassador, what are some of the most frequently asked questions that you get from Israeli investors, and especially like new investors who are just eyeing Georgia for,
I will say that I think it's the usual question. I mean, people are, you know, the investor usually curious about the level of stability, how welcoming is the environment to do new business. I mean, I think that all investors pretty much come with the same list of questions when they are coming to a new country. And we are sharing with them. We are also sometimes taking them to the different representatives from the I5s, whether it's the World Bank or the other, the economic organizations that are the financial organs that are working here, in order for them to, in each and every sector, to receive the best analysis, of course, also with the Ministry of Economy here of Georgia.
Of course. And also, are they looking closely how Georgia is doing on its path to the European Union and all this candidate status and 12 priorities that we have? Are those 12 priorities among
I cannot say that from the Israeli interest, from the Israeli investment point of view, I don't think that this is the main focus. I think that there is a difference between maybe European investors and Israelis.
So what can we do and what can the country do so that not only Israeli investors come to Georgia, but also Georgian investors come to Israel and grow their businesses there?
I think that at the end of the day, I mean, I will be very humble. I will say there is a limit to what a government not only can do, but also should do. I think that when it's come to the private sector, to investment, at the end of the day, it has to be, it has to be profitable, it has to be worthwhile, and us as government need to make sure that, that we are removing as many barriers as we can, but at the end of the day, it's up to them to see that it's profitable and worth for them.
Are you satisfied with trade numbers?
No, we don't have high trade numbers, but we will continue to work on it. No, I think that the mutual trade, but I will also say that I think that the trade numbers are not telling the whole story, because they are not taking in the amount of money that is coming from tourism. We all know that Israel is one of the top, that Israelis are pretty much opening the list of non-neighboring countries incoming tourism to Georgia, and this is not really being translated into the numbers. I think that there are other forms of investment that are not necessarily being reflected in the traditional number of mutual trade, and therefore I think that, but still, our job is never to be happy and satisfied, to continue aspire and work for more.
Thank you so much for these very interesting answers, and thank you for participating in this program and helping Georgian kids. Thank you.
Our privilege.
Thank you very much, Elena.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
The Checkpoints is presented by pharmaceutical company GM Pharma.